What's up, internet? Pokemon is a franchise so big, it's not just big in the video game industry, but it's actually big in the entire entertainment industry, where there's so much toys to be bought of Pokemon. There's now a movie, and then there's a cartoon series, and there's a video game, and then there's a card game, which is actually apparently still popular. I still hear kids are buying and collecting those cards, which blows my mind because I thought that died and just was never coming back. But it looks like they have another thing up their sleeve. If Pokemon Go wasn't enough, it seems like the Pokemon company is actually partnering up with that company DeNA, spelled D-E-N-A, and they're going to make a mobile game. Now, I believe this is not part of the venture that Nintendo is going with DeNA. Instead, like I mentioned, it's actually directly with the Pokemon company, but this must be noted that Nintendo actually owns a portion of the Pokemon company, so it gets a little confusing just based on that. So my main questions about this mobile game are, will it connect to the Pokemon Go game? And if it does, what kind of things will it be? And will it connect to the new Sword and Shield game? Now, if this was the Nintendo venture, I would say 100% it's going to connect with the Sword and Shield, but because this is a venture of the Pokemon company, I have to wonder, like, what's their plan? We don't really know what they want to do with this game. If I were them, I would just go with the, what's that corporate keyword, the synergy, and just have them all talk to each other. That way, if you buy one game, you have to play the other, and vice versa. My next question would be, is this game going to be an RPG, or is it going to be a mini game like type game? Now, if it's DeNA, and if we look at their past Pokemon games, what do they have? They have Mario Run, which they probably deem as a failure and probably would not want to recreate. Then they have the Fire Emblem game, which is actually a pretty good moneymaker. Then there's the Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer. No, not the Happy Home Designer. I'm not really sure what it's called, but it's the Animal Crossing mobile game. I don't know what it's called because I literally played it one day and said, nope, cannot do this. And then, of course, there's the infamous, what's it called? Was it Miitomo? Yes, it was Miitomo, I believe, for the phone. Now, I was actually really into that game. I say game, but it was obviously not a game. It was like, they're like little take on a social network. But I was all in. I thought that was really fun. Like a social network where not only do you chat with someone, but you can actually hear the little fake voice that you create. In fact, I always wondered, like, why was there no chat option in there? They could have literally created just like their own like little social network off of that game and made it more like a social network, and I think people would have actually taken it. But that's a video on for its own day. Now, looking at the past games, the first thing that I noticed, other than Mario Run, which, like I said, was what they deem a failure, they all had microtransactions. So, of course, this game will have microtransactions. And I know Nintendo has a pretty strong thing about they don't want to put too many microtransactions. But once again, we're not talking about Nintendo here. We're talking about the Pokemon company. And who knows, maybe they might be a little different where they're like, oh, let's just go ahead and put microtransactions in there and put lots of them so you can make lots and lots of money. But only time will tell. All I know is that if the microtransactions in any way stop me from having fun, I am not going to play, and I will just delete it from my phone, and I will just go back to Sword and Shield, and we'll see. Of course, we have no information at all, so it's too early to tell. Now, if the microtransaction in this Pokemon game are there, and if you can transfer any sort of upgrades or items to your main games, then that would actually cause a problem, and that problem would be that it would indirectly turn Pokemon Sword and Shield into a pay-to-win type of game. And unfortunately, it's Pokemon. There are people very dedicated to Pokemon. People are not afraid to spend money on Pokemon. As you saw Pokemon Go, how I actually knew a lot more people than any other game that actually bought microtransactions. So that will happen, and people will buy those. People will buy upgrades and whatever. Maybe, for example, you can buy a pack of 5 rare candies for $1, transfer it over to your game, and just level up your Pokemon. And that would actually kind of break the game, but it would still make them a lot of money. So let's cross our fingers and hope that that doesn't become a reality. And honestly, that was like my only fear. I do really like Pokemon. I do think the Pokemon movie looks awesome. Haven't seen it yet. Well, actually, I don't even know if it's out in theaters yet. But regardless, I am interested to see what happens. Tell me what you guys think. Is anyone else looking for another Pokemon mobile game? Or do you think this is just going to be another dumb little mini game that only a couple people will play? Let me know down below.